Hello and welcome to the Night Feed. I'm your host, Charlotte, here to bring you some comfort, camaraderie and conversation to keep you company during, let's face it, one of the toughest parts of being a new parent, the Night Feed. Tonight's unpaid sponsor is staining your partner's t-shirt with breast milk. Jason came down the other day and I said, why on earth have you got two stains around your nipples? And then it dawned on me. I've been wearing his lovely, comfy white t-shirts for bed at the moment because it's hot and I'm not into like button-up pajamas when I'm breastfeeding. I just want a nice, simple t-shirt, whip it up. And I clearly hadn't worn my nursing bra that night with my pads in because I'm still establishing the milk and obviously still leaking. And I'd stained his t-shirt. So it'd been in the wash. He'd put it on, not looked in the mirror, clearly. And he had two breast milk patches. I said, please tell me you've not been out. And luckily he hadn't. So easily done. Public service announcement, breast milk stains. I think I've spoke about it before, but you wouldn't think it, would you? So yeah, if you're going to wear your partner's t-shirt to bed, remember to put your pads in. I tell you what, postpartum hormones are one wild ride, aren't they? I mean, 1 minute you're soaring high, the next you're soaring low. But last night I decided to bath the baby. It was quite late and I had all these alarm bells going off in my head, like, oh, you must establish a routine with the baby as soon as they come out of the womb. Bath them at 7, read them books in a dim light, get their sleep routine on point. No, he's watching Mad Men with me till about 10 o'clock and then we have a bath. I'm like, I don't do routine. He's only 8 weeks. I'm not here to do routine yet. I'm enjoying the fact that he's just here with us of an evening and he comes up to bed with us. I'm not going to put him in his next to me for him to wake every 30 minutes. And I have to keep going up and down, up and down, up and down all evening. He's only 8 weeks. So I'm like, give yourself a break. Plus, when you have two older ones to get to bed, routine kind of goes out the window. So I thought, right, it's 10 o'clock. I'm going to give him a little bath. And I put some music on, the lamp on in the kitchen. It was really nice, actually. And there I am bathing him. And I put the music on. And it's funny because when he was born, one of my favourite songs came on the radio. The midwife had Smooth FM on. And at first I was a bit like, oh, do I want the radio on? But then actually, throughout labour, it was really lovely because some really nice, profound songs came on. And as he was born, The Beautiful South came on. Now, if you're from the north of England and you grew up in the 90s like me, I'm 99% sure you will know The Beautiful South. They were an absolute staple to my childhood. I hear their music carrying up the charts, that album, and it takes me back to being 8, driving to Morrison's in the car with mum and dad. I don't know why it takes me there, but it does. And I absolutely love that album, carrying up the charts. And the first song is called Song for Whoever. And that song came on just as he was born. It was like, like flood of emotions. And yesterday when I was bathing him, it came on and he gave me the most beautiful, cute little smile at the same time. And oh my God, I was bawling. I was absolutely bawling my eyes out like, oh, I love you so much. I'm going to protect you forever and I'm going to look after you and no one's going to harm you or hurt you. Oh. The poor little thing. He just gave me the most beautiful smile. And then he's looking at me like, what the hell? So yeah. We all have those moments, don't we? And I think for Jason and obviously your partners or husbands, it must be quite a wild ride for them too, mustn't it? Like 1 minute it's all go, it's all fun, it's all happy, and the next minute you're in a heap crying. But he's getting used to it. Like he's been through it 3 times with me now, so he knows, postpartum hormones are a real thing, and we have to make space for them. But yeah, it's been such an emotional time for all of us, like every family member. And I think when you go through having a baby, when you already have other children, it's balancing their hormones and emotions as well, because they're completely entitled to feel all these feelings. But when you're feeling all the feelings as well, there's so many feelings. And we've had ups and downs. We're running on little sleep. And yeah, I'm just putting it out there that it's okay to feel low at times. It's okay to feel happy at times. And when I started this podcast, I wasn't on the night feeds at that time. I was getting up a couple of times with my toddler in the night. But when you're on the night feed with a newborn, it's a whole new different kettle of fish, isn't it? And you wake up with that overwhelming exhaustion. And you wonder how you're going to push through some days. You're like, wow, I don't think just coffee's gonna hit the sides today. But we do, we move. And to all you new mums out there, I just want to say you're doing wonderful, because someone said that to me today, my neighbour. She said, you're doing a great job. And you know, when something just hits you like, oh, that's really nice. And you really think about it, don't you? Like, she thinks I'm doing a good job. And it's just a comment like that that just keeps your chin up on a day when maybe you're feeling like you're not doing a great job, when your older two have watched probably more screen time than they should be, and you just kind of getting through. And then somebody says a comment like that to you, and you're like, oh, yeah, it's okay that we're watching a bit of screen time. It's okay to let things slip a little. So yeah, you're doing a great job wherever you're listening from, however old your baby is. You're doing great. I've been binge watching Mad Men again at the moment. I don't know if you've seen that, but I watched it, oh gosh, like 10 years ago. So it was, I think it came out like 2008. I watched it like 2015, 16. And I forgot how good it is. It's one of those things that I've not really revisited. The only two series I've watched twice are Friends and Desperate Housewives. I devoured Desperate Housewives and my second was born. And I was kind of just sat feeding him the other night, like, oh, Jason was busy, and I thought, oh, I'll just put something on. I didn't know what to put on, so I put Mad Men on, and oh God, I just love it so much. If you haven't seen it, it's so worth watching. The cinematography, the script, even if you're not into advertising or marketing, it's just such a great watch. And it's like America in the 60s, and they just drink whiskey, smoke cigarettes, and sleep around. And it's just like, yeah, it's a great watch. So I highly, highly recommend it. Next up is Confession of a New Mum. And I found this one in a forum, and it says, I'm currently on maternity leave with my wonderful, beautiful 6-week-old baby. My house is a disaster. My husband is at work, and rather than clean my house while the baby is sleeping, I chose to watch YouTube videos of someone else cleaning hoarders' houses. It makes me feel better about my own house. And let's just face it, we all need some downtime. Here, I completely agree. And the first comment actually says, a grief counsellor gave me some of the best life advice. 8 hours of sleep is not enough for recovery and day-to-day life. You need to prioritise energy in activities, whatever those may be for you. Keep enjoying the YouTube. I think that is a absolutely stellar piece of advice. You need to focus on energy in activities, and rushing around with the hoover and the mop and cleaning your house from top to bottom when the baby sleeps for 20 minutes is not the best use of your time. And it's taken me a while to realise that. When my mum's here helping, or when Jason's got the girls, the temptation to gut the house at the moment is so strong. But I know if I do that, I am useless when the girls are back. I am absolutely useless, and my cup is drained, and I can't really play with them or function. So I've really taken their advice, and they always say to me, when we've got the girls, you need to rest. You need to feed the baby and rest. And feeding the baby in itself is not necessarily resting, is it? So I am now recording this podcast with the baby sleeping on my knee, and my living room floor is coated in toys, and I wouldn't have it any other way. It means they're having fun, they're happy, and I'm resting. I'm getting the rest I need so that when the girls are back, I'm here and I'm present and I can play. So take that pressure off yourself if you are in that camp of, as soon as the baby naps, we clean, we do the washing, we cook. I'm sure your partners are all understanding that you are raising babies, which is a full-time job. So I just really like that, focusing more on energy in activities. Before we go any further tonight, I just wanted to mention the wonderful people at Femometer who very kindly gifted me their smart ring. They gifted me this a couple of months ago when I was pregnant. And I've really taken to wearing it more so now I'm postpartum, because I find it fascinating how much sleep I get as a new mum. I've mentioned it a couple of weeks ago how one night was 8 hours 50, I think, and I was bowled over. I was like, whoa, I am getting better sleep than I did when I was pregnant. And I was like, we've got this nailed, babe. It's going to be fine. Got all my sleep. It's great. The next night, I had 3 hours 10. So it's just really insightful. And I know on the days I've only had 3 hours 10, I'm going to be a bit grumpier than the days I have 8 hours. And it really reminds me to get my sleep in. Looking at the stats in black and white on the app is really, really great. You can see the complete breakdown of deep sleep. You can see REM. You can see light sleep. You can see clearly when you wake. And I know it's super accurate because at the times I've woke, say to go to the loo in the night or when he's woke, I've looked at my phone. So I know it's say 2:10 or 4:30 and it all tracks. And it also monitors your anxiety level, like your stress level, which is brilliant. And a feature that I'm going to be using more so is the ovulation feature it is. And this basically tells you like what it is, what it says when you're ovulating. So highly recommend this ring if you are thinking about getting a smart ring. It's available on Amazon and I'll include the link. And it comes with an app that you don't have to pay for. A lot of the other ones, you have to subscribe to the app. So, yeah, app's free for life once you've paid for the ring. All hooks up really easily. And I would highly recommend it. It's called the Femometer Ring. And I will include a link down below in the show notes. I've also got a code which gives you 20% off, which is the night feed. And I will also put that in the show notes. Okay, on to your emails. And the first email comes from Keely and it's entitled Sugar. It says, "Hello, Charlotte. I love to listen to your show and soak in all the tips, tricks, and laughter of motherhood. Your show is one that I look forward to every week." Oh, that's really kind. It's made my day, that. I'm emailing because I'm a 27-year-old wife and mother with our first baby, Troyan. She's about to turn 9 months on August the 4th. Happy birthday, little one. As we all know, the older they are, the more different foods they can try and consume. I, from the beginning, have always wanted to stay away / give as little sugar as possible since babies don't need sugar at such a young age. But my in-laws and even my own family do not respect that decision and keep giving her sugar in the form of drinks, ice cream, frosting, cake, pudding, etc. How did you handle the sugar intake with your kids? And did you have a problem with people wanting to feed your kids things you do not want them to have? Any insight would be great. Keep doing what you're doing. Love you in the pod, Keely. Oh, that's so, so kind. Okay. Sugar. Yes. Oh, it's a real tough one. Okay. With my first, when you're weaning your first baby, I remember everything being very fruit. It was just fruit and veg. Started on bananas and then I went on to avocado, broccoli, and I kept it very clean. I was very much body as a temple, like what you're saying. There's no need for sugar. As time goes on, I think like anything, you start off thinking she's going to have the cleanest diet possible because you only want the best for your children, of course. As time goes on, they do discover treats. And I think one side of the argument is you can stop them from having them completely. And one day they'll discover them and binge. And the flip side is you can give them way too much. And that's obviously really bad for them. So my mum always says everything in moderation. She always says everything in moderation is good. To some extent, we need a little bit of sugar. So my stance on this has always been when they're really little, keep them as clean as you can. Obviously when you're early weaning, as much good stuff. I think I really focused on veg because there is the argument that the more fruit you give them, the more sweeter taste they'll get. So I was really strong on the old broccoli, avocado, that kind of thing. When my second came along, I did the same. I was very much focused on clean, green eating, if you like. I tried to stay away from the pouches as much as I could. I used them a little bit when they got older, and I found the pouches with the fruit in helpful for when it was really hot and they needed like a quick fix from the fridge, and that would cool them down. So I used them for that. Then as we progressed onto eating meals as a family, we've always just given them what we've given them. I never really placed that much emphasis on not allowing them things, because I think the psychology of it is like, oh, you can't have that, that's bad. They'll think, oh, I want a bit of that. It's like you wanting what you can't have. And I know what you mean. When I first visited relatives with my eldest, particularly my grandparents, so like my nans, they just want to give them sweets and treats, don't they? They want to give them, it's just to make their day. And it almost makes their day, as in my grandparents, it makes their day being able to give them things. And at first I did find that a little bit like, oh, she's had so much like chocolate in the last 40 minutes, like chocolate buttons and things. And I did struggle at first a little bit, but I have given into the fact that it's not every day, it's on an occasion. They are going to get given treats, and it's how you handle it, I suppose. Whether you want to go down the route of no, she isn't allowed, or whether you want to go down the route of we like to give her things, but not too much. So if a packet of chocolate buttons comes out, for example, you could say, oh, could you grab me a bowl? I'll pour a few out for her. And that's your way of saying she's not having the whole packet. And just kind of overseeing the situation without being a spoil sport, I guess. That's my kind of stance on it. At the moment, I must admit, we've gone a little bit haywire with the sugar. I can't talk. I'm breastfeeding, and I have downed a packet of sweets literally an hour ago. And I know I need to watch that because I am hoovering sugar at the moment, which is really bad. So I'm trying to be mindful of that myself, because it doesn't make you feel great, does it? I don't think it makes kids feel particularly great. They have a high and then they crash. So you're just being a really, really good mother, and you just want the best for your child. And I completely agree. They don't need the sugar. We do try and limit the treats. We do try and limit them at home so that when they do go out and they do go and see relatives, they can have a treat here and there. And like I said, my stance on it has always been everything in moderation. And if you can put little techniques into play, for example, the bowl idea, when she's presented with a bag of chocolate or a whole cake, you could say, look, I'm going to cut that in half and I'm going to put that on a plate for her. Oversee it. And if it gets too much, obviously say something. Say, look, can we tone down the treats a bit? And you are her mum, so your opinion is what matters. But I would say everything in moderation, and don't be too hard on yourself, and don't, in my opinion, rule out sugar completely, because like I said, when they get to a certain age, they'll discover it anyway, whether it's at school or a friend's house, and they could want it an unhealthy amount then. So I hope that helps. And thanks for emailing in. Okay, next email is from Laura, and it says, why are people like this? Hi, Charlotte. I have a friend. She's an ex-colleague, and she had a baby 3 months after I had mine. When my boy was 3 months old, she asked me if he'd rolled over yet. I said no. He rolled at 5.5 months. Today, she called me and told me that her son, who is 3.5 months old, rolled over and it's almost about to drag himself to move. Not only that, she was like, both her babies hit milestones really quickly, just like her and her husband when they were babies. Not only that, she then asked me if my baby's crawling yet at 6.5 months. When I said no, she was like, you better get it checked. It's never too late to get medical opinions. I don't understand how fellow mums can talk like this to other mums without an ounce of empathy. Did you have this experience? Thanks for writing in, Laura. I didn't really have this experience. I'm really grateful that I didn't. I've not really come across any friends that are obsessed with milestones to that level. My friends generally agree that they're just time frames and we all do things at different points. I personally would never ever judge a baby or a friend for milestones not being hit, like rolling over or crawling. I mean, I can't remember off the top of my head when they roll or crawl. And I've had two. This is my third baby. I'm not sat here thinking, when should he do this? I think we've got enough on our plates without having to compare our children to our friends' children. Every baby is different. Every baby does things completely differently. My second walked earlier than my first did in months. And I never remember thinking, oh, she's going to be quicker or she's going to be faster than her. Like, I just think, well, they do it at different times. And she sounds, to be comparing babies like that and telling you to get medical advice is a bit much, in my opinion. I think if your baby was drastically not moving around, like, a lot older, then to show concern is fair enough in a conversation that you initiate. If you say, I'm worried he's 1 and he's not crawling yet, then have that conversation. But for her to start throwing claims that you need to get medical advice is out of order, in my opinion. So I would say take it with a pinch of salt. And I think people generally like that compare and make other people feel bad have got a lot of issues themselves. If she's ringing you to tell you how quick her babies achieve milestones and how quick her and her husband did when they were babies, I think she's got her own issues. I could never imagine doing that. I could never imagine saying, oh, when I was baby, I walked really, really quickly and so's my little girl. It's like, grow up. So don't get bogged down by it. And I mean, it's not my place to say that you're better off without this friend, but your friend should be making you feel good as a mum. They should be telling you that you're doing a good job, and they should be there for you when you need a moan or a rant, and they should be there for you to support you and vice versa. So yeah, that's my opinion on that. And you're right that these are just time frames. They're not okay when they get older. Yes, they become medical, but right now, when your baby's so young, I would say go with the flow and encourage your baby and do all the things that you should be doing with them, and the milestones will be hit. That's my opinion. I hope that helps. Next tonight is what's trending. Can't avoid this story. I'm sorry. I'm sat here on the news quite a lot at the moment on my phone, and I know I shouldn't be because the news just makes everyone depressed, but that Coldplay couple, oh no. What is going on there? How embarrassed would you be? Firstly, to be having an affair, but secondly, to be caught having an affair that red-handed. I mean, I think she was going to just ride it out, wasn't she? But he just took a complete nosedive. If you don't know what I'm talking about, well, you're probably living your life and haven't been on the internet because it's absolutely everywhere. But basically, this CEO of a company called Astronomer, like an AI tech company, got caught with his head of HR in a clinch at the Boston Coldplay concert. And I think Chris Martin was doing some kind of kiss cam thing. And there they are in full view. And I think if they'd have both just rode it out and not acted like they did, they may have got away with it. And I don't think that's a good thing because they're having an affair. But the way that they reacted has gone completely viral, hasn't it? And oh my God. I mean, seeing how your life can just take a complete nosedive in a matter of seconds. Obviously, they're having an affair, so that's not good. And you could say, yeah, they do deserve to get caught. My concern is that people that aren't in the limelight aren't really equipped to deal with that much virality. And I just think that's the kind of thing that could go really badly when it comes to like their mental health and things, even though they were having the affair and it is their fault. And yes, they should be caught. I think on that scale can be a life ruiner, can't it? You know, you're always going to be that meme. And that's the worrying thing with the internet, I think, is you get caught in public doing one crazy thing and you are a lifelong meme. Nobody wants to be a lifelong meme. So yeah, I mean, I don't know how that's going to pan out. I know he's stepped down from his position, and I don't know whether these people are going to get divorced or what, but gosh, it's crazy, isn't it? How your life can just turn by Chris Martin. I'm not a Chris Martin fan. I know that might alienate some of you, but I am not a Coldplay or Chris Martin fan. I think he loves himself. And yeah, I'm not a fan. But yeah, it's not great, is it? And gosh, who knows where that's going to end up. But there's so many memes, isn't there, coming out of like, I don't know, Trump and Hillary Clinton in a clinch. All the different memes. Quite funny, really. But yeah, lesson learned for everybody there is don't have an affair in a corporate box at a Coldplay concert. Finally, to finish on a quote I wrote, 4 weeks of knowing you. I can almost smile to show you I love you. My eyes are adjusting to this big wide world and I see how you squirm less when you feed me. I see your tired arms tremble as they reach for me at 3:14 a.m. I see the love you have for me in your eyes despite the overwhelming exhaustion. I see how you've accepted the mess and the mountain cleaning washing pile. You know this is a season. You only get to live a few times. I see you cry happy tears when you sing to me like you can't believe I'm real. I also see the not so happy tears stream down your cheeks when you're pushed to your limits. I see the morning cup of coffee you drink like it's giving you life, even if it is cold. I see the pain in your eyes, your body still recovering. I'm only 4 weeks old, Mama, but I already know you'd move mountains for me, and this love we share is otherworldly. Thank you for listening tonight. I hope this episode's been okay. I feel a little bit scatty at the moment. I'm kind of trying to put them together and be on time. It was my second baby's birthday this week, so I'm a little bit late, but I hope you've enjoyed it. And if you have any recommendations, if you have any stories to tell, questions, keep them coming in, thenightfeedpodcast@gmail.com. Wishing you all a peaceful night ahead. Good night.